My aunt's secret baby was in Grandma's photo album. My grandmother's house was quiet after she passed. She left it to me, and with it, a lifetime of meticulously organized belongings. My mom warned me as I started sorting through boxes, "Your grandma kept everything. Be prepared." My Aunt Carol, my mom's sister, was a constant, quiet presence in our lives. She was the successful, sophisticated career woman who was always single, and as the family narrative went, sadly childless. She carried an air of melancholy that we all just accepted as part of who she was. The real weight of my task was knowing that my mom and my aunt were all I had left. Upsetting the delicate balance of our grieving family felt like a terrible risk. The first few days were fine. I found report cards and old holiday decorations. Then I found the photo albums, dozens of them. I started with the oldest, chronological ones. Birthdays, vacations, the usual family history. Then I came across an album tucked away in a dusty chest, with no label on the spine. The leather was worn, and it felt different. Inside, the photos were of a baby I didn't recognize, then a toddler, then a little girl, maybe 4 or 5 years old. She had our family's unmistakable bright blue eyes and a familiar dimple in her chin. In most of the pictures, she was with my grandmother, but in some, I could see the edge of a woman's arm, a hand resting on the child's shoulder. On the wrist was a silver bracelet with a unique clasp, a bracelet I had seen on Aunt Carol's wrist at every holiday for my entire life. My heart started beating faster. I kept turning the pages. I found a photo of the little girl, now a bit older, proudly holding up a crayon drawing of a house. I carefully slipped the photo from its plastic sleeve. On the back, in my grandmother's elegant cursive, were the words, "Lily, age 5, a picture for her mommy." I had never heard the name Lily in my life. I tore through the rest of my grandmother's things with a new sense of urgency. In a hat box in her closet, under layers of tissue paper, I found a stack of letters tied with a ribbon. They were from a family in Ohio, addressed to my grandmother. They were yearly updates, filled with mundane details that were suddenly earth-shattering. Lily is loving first grade. She lost her first tooth. We've included her latest school picture. And at the bottom of the box, I found it, the carbon copy of a legal document. It was a private adoption agreement dated 40 years ago. It relinquished all parental rights for a female infant. And at the bottom, in a shaky but clear signature, was my aunt's name, Carol. My grandmother hadn't just known, she had been the secret conduit, the only link to the daughter Carol had given away. I called a family meeting. Just me, my mom, and Aunt Carol in the quiet living room of my grandmother's house. I didn't say anything accusatory. I just placed the unlabeled album on the coffee table between them. I opened it to a picture of Lily smiling, and then I gently laid one of the school pictures next to it. My mom let out a small, strangled gasp, her hand flying to her mouth as she looked from the photo to her sister. Aunt Carol didn't move. She just stared at the face of the little girl. For the first time, the mask of polite sadness she had worn for decades completely shattered. She didn't wail. She just started to cry, silent, gut-wrenching sobs that shook her entire body. "They told me it was for the best," she whispered, to no one in particular. "They said she would have a better life. We found her. It took 6 months and a private investigator, but we found Lily. She's a history teacher with 2 kids of her own. And now, the quiet in my grandmother's house is gone. It's filled with the noise of grandchildren I never knew I had. My family isn't what I thought it was. It's bigger, more complicated, and finally, more whole."